Okay, so I love Sonic Battle because I love fighting games. Goodbye. I'm just kidding. So I like fighting games because it has high player interaction, and this is going to be a reoccurring theme, so just stick with me. So think of things like Mario Kart, right? A racing game. Sonic races and goes fast. Similar goals, right? But they have similar challenges too. Mario Kart has so many items because they're trying to make up for the lack of player interaction that racing games typically have. And Sonic is a great fit for this because most of our multiplayer games have this same issue. Fighting games are a perfect fit for Sonic because all the characters mostly have these really unique abilities, so you can immediately imagine all these crazy movesets. And you can see it in this game. We see abilities that Sonic never uses again, for some reason not in Smash Bros. And so that is one big reason why I love Sonic Battle. But we're gonna keep going. Sonic Battle's art style, hold on. Sonic Battle's art style is also a big reason why I love it. Now, Sonic the Fighters is great and all, and it has that cartoony stretchiness, and Sonic Battle doesn't shy away from that cartooniness either, but it also has the task of selling this intense story from the Gizoids, right? They are civilization-ending monsters, machines. And so all the characters, not just the Gizoids, have these crazy abilities that can even rival the Gizoids. So you gotta sell us on these super powered creatures, but also they have that expressiveness that something like Sonic the Fighters would have. I'm supposed to be cycling through these, but basically that is a big part of why I like Sonic Battle as well. Just the aesthetic. I didn't even get into the auditory unique identity that it has. Even the music is sharp and intense and heavy. It's just not the same goal that Sonic the Fighters had. It's a beautiful traditional fighter, Sonic the Fighters, but Sonic Battle has this really, really unique flavor, not only in its identity, but the gameplay, which we're gonna move on to. It was never ever meant to be a competitive high-level game like Street Fighter or Tekken. Obviously, they're not gonna do that, right? They got 2 buttons, they got 2 triggers, and like, they're not gonna do anything advanced. It was always meant to be a party fighter, and that's why there's so much emphasis on this story, right? Even the unique identity is tied into it. The story is what it was all about, and it's a big part of why I enjoy this game, right? Not only are the players interacting because they're fighting, but the characters are interacting. So we get that same enjoyment that you get from things like Sonic X, where you really get to see the characters interact and their personalities bounce off of each other. You get to see that contrast that I love to see between the characters. Really, really just, they get to play with that contrast that I talked about in the voice acting video that I made, and it really leans into it. And all it really needed was a little bit more polish in a few glitches, right? Some attacks are meant to clearly follow up into each other, and they just do not. For example, Sonic's heavy attack at the end of his combo, it leaves him completely vulnerable because the startup is way too slow. But also there's a big problem with the difficulty throughout the main campaign, and since that's high priority for a party fighter, right, that's the part where you're gonna get more players, those players that are gonna interact. And if the story is causing them problems, it's gonna be harder to recommend these games to people's friends that they're hoping to play this game with. And so my theory on this is this all happened when Sonic became multi-platform, right? So Sonic Adventure 2 Battle just released, the port of Sonic Adventure 2. And Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was selling like crazy. And Nintendo just released the Game Boy Advanced, which is the sequel to a hugely revolutionary console, the Game Boy. And the Game Boy link cable was huge, right? So Sega's thinking, how do we get the most bang for our buck? I know, we have a colorful cast of characters with all these cool abilities. Let's make some really cool, appealing sprites with movesets, an appealing art aesthetic, because we're good at that stuff, with an appealing soundtrack, and then we'll just let the pieces fall where they are. And unfortunately, there just wasn't quite enough polish for this game to allow us fans to recommend it to other people, because this game is really only fun when you've got 4 people in a battle, and that requires quite a bit of people interested in the game. I played this with Sam and Garrulous, and that was only 3 people, and we all made our own custom Emeralds, which made the game shine. And I knew in that moment, aside from playing the story, that that is what Sonic Battle is all about. Having fun with your friends, the same way that the characters are interacting and having fun with each other and going, we should do a battle. They're literally teaching you what the game was supposed to be for. Peace.